Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Paul and Brad Show, where we break down all the news headlines that you need to know about heading into your workday, heading into your weekend. And well, today is Friday, so we spend a lot more time in the chat, reading your comments, but also, of course, going over the news. If you're not familiar, the news cycle usually ends Thursday, but with everything going on between China and everybody else, you got Russia and Ukraine, Israel, Iran. I mean, you got a lot of things taking place. I'm not so sure the news actually ends on a Thursday anymore, at least the cycle itself, especially when you have Donald Trump in office. So we're going to make sure that we keep you updated on everything that's happening around the world, which we do have live updates right now with Israel and Iran. And I know you might be tired of hearing about it, but folks, this could very well lead us into a full-blown escalation, war, major campaign. I think a lot of people are asking for that, but I think we would be silly not to cover it, especially when it's such big breaking news. How much of that is actually breaking? I'm not really sure. That's a good question, but we're going to break it down for you nonetheless. So we do have some live updates. It's good to see y'all in the chat. Let's give some shout outs here really quick. Betts, Hans, Miriam, Karen, Shayla's here. We got everybody coming in. Everyone's slowly waking up. Good morning, you little babies. Dan's here. Jeff, Miss Mom, Lulu, Steven, Peggy, Pat. We got a lot of people joining us, and we are going officially live on TikTok as I speak right now. So if you're available over there, you can come join us. But with that being said, let's look at some live updates. I've not seen any of this, but let's go down here. Oh, looks like there's quite a bit. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Whoa. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is where I left off that I saw, for me personally, first night with no sirens in Israel. It's just after 5 a.m. in Israel, and there haven't been any siren warnings of an Iranian missile attack for the last 10 hours. Well, maybe they spoke too soon based on the little peeky that I saw right up here. So here we go. Missile sirens in southern Israel. Missile sirens are being sounded in Beersheba, the same Israeli city where Iran struck a hospital less than 24 hours ago. So again, this is very reminiscent of San Francisco, this poop map, where you have brown pins everywhere. And somebody that lives in California, that's very much a real thing. And I would like to say that's one of the things we dropped here on the Paul and Brad Show, that app did exist before Ron DeSantis ever showed it. So it's our claim to fame that we showed the poop map before Ron DeSantis or anybody ever really did. Yes, that is our claim to fame, the poop app. You're welcome. You're welcome. Everybody saying good morning and happy Friday. Yes, we made it through another week. We're still alive. Still alive without a World War III. That's always a plus, isn't it? All righty. We got Iranian missile impacts in southern Israel. This is an Iranian missile impact site from Iran's attack moments ago. No casualties have been reported as of now. So it looked like it did strike the building there. Maybe a major strike on the building. It almost looks like the parking lot was just hit, but God bless that nobody was injured. Again, even if this was a strike on the Iranian side, I'd be saying the same thing. That, oh, thank God nobody was injured. Thank God nobody was hurt. The only people I don't care about are terrorists because they want to hurt me, my family, my friends, all that stuff. Americans, Western civilization. Yeah, I don't like that very much. It turns out that if you want to harm people that are innocent, yeah, I'm not really down for that. In the same way, look, people, well, why don't you say that about Israel and the IDF? Correct. I'm not down for that. I'm not down for civilians to be deleted. It's not a good thing. What I will say is that when you're in a full-blown escalation in war, just like Israel is with Hamas, and the way that this, I guess you would call it maybe guerrilla-style warfare nowadays, it's a little bit tough not to have civilian casualties, especially when you're in a place like Gaza that's overpopulated and you got terrorists in freaking every little apartment here or there. That's a little bit difficult. But if you look at World War II and look how many casualties there are there, I mean, that's the casualties of war, unfortunately. I'm not stoked about it. I don't think anybody is, but it's something that does happen, unfortunately. Brad, it started before an SF, trust me. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Iranians caught a team of Israelis And now Israelis are saying they are being held hostage. Interesting. All right, well, we'll kind of source that out, but thank you for the update, Miss Mom. Good morning over there, Pat, on TikTok. Make sure you spam that heart. Good morning. I am the light. You know who's stoked about it. The Iranian regime, probably. So here we go. This looks like we got footage of that blast that we just saw that looked like it took out the parking lot. But let's take a little peeky at this one. Make sure it's viewable on all. There we go. Oh, now my big head's in the way. Get out of the way, Brad. Jesus. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, the people that are glass manufacturers are just, they're doing great things. They're going to be doing great things in Israel. So there you go. Blew out the whole thing. And kaboom. Man. So it does look like it impacted up higher, right? Because the blast kind of came in under. Some of you are asking, can we get a bigger view of it? Yes. That's what she said. UK Attorney General had family in IDF in 2023, maybe still now, personal interest in supporting IDF. I do not have my personal interest lies with my loyalty to the United States, my friend. I don't mind, like, countries are going to do what they want to do, but I don't mind the United States. I do not mind Donald Trump protecting Israeli citizens from missile barrages, utilizing our military that are right there in the ocean. I don't mind taking out these missiles. I don't mind supplying missiles to take out or be utilized in the Iron Dome. I don't mind that. I think all of us Americans were just tired. Yeah, not our war. Good luck, everyone over there. Yeah, it's not. We're tired, man. We've seen what happens with the regime change in the Middle East. We've tried it. It doesn't work. We're all both, remember, it's both Republicans and Democrats. Like, we're just all tired of the crap. You know what I mean? And by the way, if you're in the Middle East, that's kind of scary for you because you wore us out. You wore the Americans out. We're like, okay, enough's enough. Like, we got our own stuff to worry about here domestically. You guys are pretty much on your own. Now, is that for sure going to happen? No, but Donald Trump would be making a big mistake, I think, by putting in a full effort here in this whole conflict in the Middle East. We just don't have an appetite for it. You got to be careful with the polls that are being shown right now on social media because people are saying, well, everybody supports what Donald Trump's doing. Yeah, what he's doing right now, which to be fair is really not all that much. Now, here's the thing. The reason why everybody's kind of heightened on alert is because of the massive military movement that Trump is doing there in the Middle East. I mean, you got 2 destroyers already. You're having 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, which I've tried to thought about words. The sheer power that holds is wild, man. Wild. And again, I know I keep repeating these stats, these little info things, but we took out the 3rd largest military in the world 30 years ago, the Gulf War, in 100 hours. In like 3 or 4 days, we took out the 3rd largest, wiped them out clean, done, kaput, campaign over. Iranians' navy, we made them obsolete in 8 hours. People forget that. And so I think the Iranians forgot that, to be fair. I think a lot of people forget the sheer might of what we can do here as the United States. I'm not asking for it, and I don't want it to happen. I just want to be clear. So I pray for those in the IDF, those that have to serve. I hope they don't have to do boots on the ground. But right now, this is just all pretty much being shot by missiles or by aircraft. So, but maybe, I don't know. Wild nonetheless, man. But we're all tired. I believe we should make sure we don't get involved. But if Iran attacks us, we should intervene. I still don't think that. I don't think even then Americans have the appetite for that, man. Look, it's happened before. There was an attack by the Iranians. Let me kind of look this up really quick because this is a point I think a lot of people forget. Donald Trump has patience, man. Let me see. There was an attack. When did the Iranians attack under Trump's first term? And he didn't want to do something that wasn't proportional. So there was an attack on us under Donald Trump's first term, and he held off and said, hey, that's not proportional. We're not going to do that. So here we go. So during Donald Trump's first term, a notable Iranian attack occurred on January 8th, 2020, when Iran launched over 12 ballistic missiles at the Al-Assad Air Base and another facility near in Iraq, targeting U.S. forces. This was a retaliation for the U.S. drone strike on January 3rd, 2020, that killed their general, Soleimani. The missile attack injured over 100 U.S. service members, with many suffering traumatic brain injuries, though no fatalities were reported. Here we go. Trump's response was deliberately restrained to avoid escalating the conflict into a disproportionate reaction. He addressed the nation, downplaying the injuries as minimal and describing them as a headache in some instances, emphasizing that no Americans were killed. He opted for economic sanctions on Iran. So now the question would be, well, what if there were casualties? What if somebody does happen? What if that does take place? Well, then you might see something a little bit different, because Trump, you don't want to be effing around and finding out with Trump, but he does have a lot of restraint, and you got to give him credit where credit's due on that. So we'll find out in 2 weeks. He said 2 weeks. So we're going to get our answer soon. And that doesn't mean it's going to take two weeks. I mean, we could find our answers like in the next 5 minutes. Who knows? I mean, they're watching Trump like a hawk. So anytime he's in the Situation Room, you got to like perk up a little bit, right? IDF tells the Daily Wire 150 Iranian missile launchers have been destroyed, which is good in the sense that it's not going to harm civilians. That's always a plus. Defense Minister directs IDF to destabilize Iranian regime. So that seems like that's the new effort. I don't really like that. I mean, look, the Israelis are going to do what they want to do, but I don't like this idea of trying to destabilize the Iranian regime. You might just get in somebody that's even more psycho. You got to leave it up to the Iranian people to do it. If they want to rise up against their government, you got to leave it up to them. I'm not for this regime change whole thing. You might get somebody worse. Yeah, well, Brad, you might get somebody better. Yeah, maybe. Again, tired. You see the bags under my eyes? Tired of the whole region not figuring out their crap. You know, like maybe figure it out sooner or later. So we don't. But this is no different than in the sense of us not wanting to get engaged in World War II. There was, for the first time in this whole, and I'm trying to think, since I've been doing the Bald Brad show, so we're talking 4.5 years, for the first time in somebody's podcast yesterday, and I forgot who it was. I think it might have been on Lindell TV, actually. There's a gentleman that was being interviewed, and he actually mentioned something that I mention all the time here on the show. People forget how difficult it was, how impossible it was to get the United States engaged in World War II, at least in the European conflict. You got to read up on that, man. I'm telling you, if you read about how FDR said, look, the American people don't have an appetite for it, and how hard Churchill was pushing FDR and pleading with him. People call us bootlickers. Churchill was down there on FDR's polio freaking feet trying to get him to join the war, and he just wouldn't do it because Americans didn't have an appetite for it. And right now we don't either. And by the way, midterms, please don't forget, that's the last thing we want. We have midterms coming up, folks. We do not want to be engaged in a conflict that's going to piss Americans off, and then we piss away these entire next 2 years of the Trump administration because we wanted to get involved in this crap. So that's the most recent update as of 21 minutes ago. So how long have we been live? 17. So Israel issues nationwide alert for latest Iranian barrage impacts reported. So that's happening as we speak. People are taking missiles. Make sure you pray for them at some point today. There we go. All righty. There's an article here that I pulled up. Oop, there we go. I don't know why it's all highlighted. Get off my screen. Let me just. I don't know how do I get this advertisement crap off my screen. It's so annoying. Like McDonald's, you don't need an entire screen to advertise. Get out of here. All right. Okay, so everybody can see this. Okay. So the new map that could be guiding Trump's Middle East moves. Now, I have not read this, but I'm curious if this is the 4D chess that I've been talking about. Now, am I looking for confirmation bias? You're damn right I am. You're damn right Daddy's looking for confirmation bias. So we're going to break this down because I am I'm in total belief right now that Donald Trump is playing some insane chess while everybody else is playing checkers. So I'm ready for it. By the way, if you're over at TikTok, if you're over at any of our sites that are streaming the Bald Brad Show, make sure you share this with your friends and family all over social media. And also, please hit that thumbs up button, as well as spam the you know what out of the heart button on TikTok. Let's get TikTok going a little bit. Let's get a little feisty over there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a little bit crazy. I know what you could do. I see you over there. We only have 1,000 likes on TikTok. Come on, we could get that bad boy up to 10. There's like 70 people watching. 70 people just get that, you know, snapping that fingy, baby. Here we go. Let's break this down. So President Donald Trump came back into office promising no new wars. True. So far, he's kept that promise because he's also left much of Washington and many of American allies confused by a series of rapid, unexpected moves across the Middle East. So people are calling this conflict a war. I don't think it's escalated to war. I see this as a campaign, a tit for tat between the Israelis and the Iranians. In terms of going to war, I think when you have boots on the ground, that's a good indicator that there is going to be some sort of war taking place. In just a few months, Trump has reopened back channels with Iran, then turned around and threatened its regime with collapse. He's kept Israel at arm's length, skipping it on his regional tour. Before signaling support once again, he lifted U.S. sanctions on Syria's Islamicist leader, a figure long treated as untouchable in Washington, and he made headlines by hosting Pakistan's top general at the White House, even as India publicly objected. Again, this is one of the variables that I'm injecting into my equation of Donald Trump already having this 4D chess map laid out. For all we know, maybe the Saudis don't mind this happening either. This all could have been part of this whole, I mean, it's a conspiracy theory, I guess, at this point, but this could be all part of Donald Trump's massive just concoction. He's sitting there above the boiling, what do you call that thingy that the witches use? It don't matter. It doesn't matter. So for those watching closely, it's hard to pin down a clear doctrine. Critics see basically him improvising, sometimes a contradiction, but step back and a pattern begins to emerge. It's not about ideology, democracy, promotion, or traditional alliances. It's about access, geography, trade. God, isn't that I love when they show the U.S. military. I get automatic goosebumps, man. Big supporter of the troops, baby. Look at the power. Ah, it's so cool. And then you start getting the Top Gun music in your head. Do do do. Goose! Goose! The project is called India Middle East Europe Corridor. Most Americans have never heard of it. It was launched in 2023 at the G20 summit in New Delhi as a joint initiative among the US, India, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, as well as the European Union. Its goal was this: to build a modern infrastructure link connecting South Asia to Europe without passing through Chinese territory or relying on Chinese capital. Again, divest from China. If you haven't seen our video on China, how China is collapsing, and I'm getting a lot of hate for it, I don't care if there's a lot of hate for it. It's true. And because people don't want to do their own research and actually they just want to be keyboard warriors and just go scoff it off. Yeah, okay. Well, go type in a few keys on your keyboard rather than writing me a comment in the section about something stupid, and go do the research. Well, what's your, you got to look. I've said this time and time again. Patriots, go ahead and take a break real quick. If you need to use the restroom, this message is not for you. This is for the progressive lefties that have their hair tied up too tight. If you look down at your phone, you're going to see a thing called Safari or maybe some sort of internet browser. What you could do is just type in there or go on ChatGPT or Grok, and that's going to even be better for you because we know you don't know how to research. Patriots, again, this isn't for you. Please understand that. This is for the lefties real quick. Just indulge me. Just indulge me really quick here. Use Grok. Let's do that. So open up Grok, type in whatever you want that you need answers to, and I think it's going to give it to you. Okay, there you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. So take whatever video I do, pop that bad boy right in the Grok, and you're going to see resources. You're going to see sources. You're going to see what's called news articles. And what you're going to find is Brad's been using all leftist articles on his videos, on his TikTok videos to be specific, because I thrive off the fact that all these psychos are going fake news of the fake news. This isn't real. This is BS. Okay, well, it's CNN. It's MSNBC. How about that? Suckers. The vision here is bold but simple. We're back, by the way. Potty break's over. Break time's done. Get back to work. Yeah, we're crazy here on the show. Yeah, I'm a little bit psycho. What about it? You want to come at me? All right, it's good seeing you, folks. It's good seeing you. Let's go to the chat a little bit. Before we continue this, I want to make sure that everybody's we're all in one place and we're having a good time here. Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait. What are you saying over there? You guys popping off? What's going on? Permanent. Yep. Brad, the knucklehead. Yeah. You know what, Dan? Okay. Simmer it down. Simmer it down, Dan. We need to get shirts that say, calm down. Settle down. There's a spammer. Who's the spammer? There's no spammer. Somebody said dead chat. There ain't no dead chat here, man. We got hundreds of people watching. Get out of here with that noise. All right, here we go. Indian goods would travel west via rail and ports through the Gulf across Israel and on to European markets. Along the way, the corridor would connect not just trade routes, but energy pipelines, digital cables, and logistics hubs. It would be the first serious alternative to China's Belt and Roadway Initiative, a way for the U.S. and its partners to build influence without boots on the ground. 4D chess. Excuse me. But before construction could begin, war broke out in Gaza. Interesting. Is it just a coincidence? Maybe. Chris asked, what do you think about sleeper cells? I do think there's sleeper cells here. You can thank Joe Biden for that, by the way. You can thank Joey for those sleeper cells. And yes, not do I think, we know there's sleeper cells here. The CIA knows. They've come out and talked about it. But I can give you the name. I give you the source itself. Sarah Adams, codename Superbad. The CIA terrorist target tracker. I mean, I gave you the name. I gave you what her title is, what she does. Just go watch anything that she says and does. You're welcome. Sarah Adams. Blonde chick, super smart, knows her stuff. You're welcome. Go down that rabbit hole. Boy, oh boy. Spend your whole weekend going down that one. It's not even conspiracy theories. You're welcome. I just took care of you. It's everything you need to know about what's happening right now. The October 2023 Hamas attacks and Israel military response sent the region into crisis. Normalization talks between Saudi Arabia and Israel fell apart. The Red Sea became a war zone for shipping, and Gulf capital flows paused the corridor, and the broader idea of using infrastructure to tie the region together was quietly shelved. Well, that's a problem. Let's not shelve that anymore. Let's get that going again, because I don't exactly want to rely on the Chinese for anything. That's the backdrop for Trump's current moves. Taken individually, then seem scattered. Taken together, they align with the logic of clearing obstacles to infrastructure. What would that obstacle be? Maybe the sabotage from terrorism. That could be too. Trump not being drawing maps in the Situation Room, but his instincts for leverage, deal making, and unpredictability are moving the very roadblocks to halt this very thing. His approach to Iran is a prime example. In April, back channels were reopened on the nuclear front. In May, a Yemen truce was brokered, reducing attacks on Gulf shipping. In June, after Israel strikes inside Iran, Trump escalated his rhetoric, calling for Iran's unconditional surrender. But it mirrors the approach that cleared a diplomatic path with North Korea, softened the edges, then applied public pressure. Meanwhile, Trump's temporary distance from Israel is hardened to miss. He skipped it on his regional tour and avoided allying with Prime Minister Netanyahu, continued hardline approach to Gaza. Instead, he praised Qatar, a U.S. military partner and quiet mediator in the Gaza talks, and signed support for the Gulf-led reconstruction plans. So there's something more cooking. There's something more brewing, baby, is basically what's happening here. And that seems to be a little bit more infrastructure taking place, getting China. I'm telling you, I think there's a lot more than this, what people are realizing. Donald Trump builds things. Donald Trump makes businesses happen. Donald Trump makes things happen. He's the deal maker, baby, the art of the deal. Could I be wrong? 100% willing to say so. But it's not wrong to try to read into the situation of what's going on, that there might be something bigger happening here with the tariffs, with what's going on in the Middle East, trying to restructure things. It's all power. It's Game of Thrones, baby, is what's going on. And I think I could be wrong. But I think there's more. I think there's a lot to this that people are missing. They just think this guy's running around aimlessly like an idiot. And maybe he is. We don't know yet. But I don't think that's the case. Running around like a knucklehead going, oh, what's happening? You want to know why I don't think that? One, because I've seen the guy's career. He's not an idiot. You love this, right? People on the left salivate over AOC, Ilhan Omar, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom. You know, these people have never actually created anything in their life. They haven't created a business. They've only suckled at the government teat their entire life. That's all they've ever done. Oh, they served though, Brad. They served their constituents. They served their communities. Sure. Donald Trump actually created jobs. He created businesses. He pays for people's health insurance, all that stuff. He actually takes care of people. Bernie Sanders takes care of illegal immigrants. Nancy Pelosi, illegal immigrants. AOC, illegal immigrants. They don't take care of Americans. They haven't created anything in their lives. Have you seen that study that how much of Congress, what proportion, I think it was like 80% or higher, what proportion of Congress members have taken business in college or owned a business? It's some crazy high number that they never have done anything. There's something here. Hold on a second. It says here, according to the Congressional Research Service, 201 members listed business as a part of their occupational background out of 541 total members. This represents only 37% of Congress has ever done something in business. So meaning the number's a lot lower. The number I've heard, which does seem accurate based on what I'm seeing here, 80% of Congress doesn't know jack bleep about business. Hasn't studied business, has never owned a business. And I put both there because I don't think you need to own a business to know anything about a business. He's never hired anybody other than maybe some staffer, like maybe they didn't even hire it. But they're going to tell you what to do. Well, good thing we have Pat or somebody over at TikTok that has moderation. Hopefully somebody's over at TikTok moderating. Let me see. Or I could take care of it if there's somebody that's spamming. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, folks. We got to do a pause here. Bald Brad has to moderate this. The bots are here. Well, Angel, who's the bot? Who's the bot? And Big Daddy can take care of it. All right, we're going to move on here to just the news. Here we go. All righty. Let's go back here. There's something over here that I want to look at. Here we go. Oh, we're always talking about California. Some of you get upset that I talk about California so much, but I talk about California so much because it affects you as well, believe it or not. Let's dive into this a little bit. Trump scores big win against Newsom in California National Guard clash. President Donald Trump picked up another legal victory in his fight with Governor Gavin Newsom, who's the worst governor in this entire union. He's going to run in 2028. Be prepared. After an appeals court ruled that he acted within the law when he deployed the California National Guard to protect federal personnel and property in Los Angeles. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on Thursday issued a 3-0 ruling in favor of Donald Trump. Gavin, you weren't wrong. You were really, really wrong is what you were. Blocking a ruling from a district judge who said Trump had violated the Constitution when he sent in the National Guard against Newsom's wishes. Whoever this district judge is, it's a prime example of how these judges have gone fully rogue. This judge, just like Gavin Newsom, was not just wrong, but like 3-0 wrong. Meaning there was not even a thought in the circuit court, not even a thought that this person, meaning this judge and Newsom, were right. Not even an inkling. Bonkers. Both irreparable harm and the public interest weigh in favor of defendants who have an uncontested interest in the protection of federal agents and property and the faithful execution of law, the undisputed facts demonstrate that before the deployment of the National Guard, protesters pinned down several federal officers and threw concrete chunks, bottles of liquid, and other objects at officers. What? Oh, you guys, that didn't happen, did it? Going into the chat, did all this happen? Since when? Because I was told it's peaceful. I was told everybody's out there with their little flutes playing some nice Irish music, and they were doing the jig, the Irish jig, and they were having a good time in the streets. Or wait, hold on, maybe that was a different peaceful protest. Maybe this is the one. Yeah, no, this is the one where they were rioting with Mexican flags, burning down buildings, and or at least trying to light buildings on fire, dumpsters, beating the crap out of police. No, yeah, you're right. No, my bad. I was getting mixed up. They're so closely aligned, right? Like between the jig and lighting something on fire and beating the crap out of somebody. Yeah, no, it's closely aligned. So silly. It's Friday. It's so silly. It's easy to get confused, right? I mean, the left does that all the time. Why can't I? Hold on. Why can't I get things confused that the left can? Simmer down. Simmer down. Protesters also damaged federal buildings and caused the closure of at least one federal building. Oh. Last week, the same court granted an emergency injunction to Trump, allowing him to retain control of the Guard while the case played out in federal court, or in court rather, not federal court. The court said it was convinced by evidence that the Guard engaged in only protecting federal personnel and property. Trump deployed the National Guard earlier this month, which was a good move to do. It was one of those things where you damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? You deploy the Guard, they're going to get upset. You don't deploy the Guard, they get upset. It's funny because in the same video that you do, you can say, Donald Trump, it was a good move to deploy the Guard. And then they go, well, what about January 6th? Why didn't he do it then? But then you say, well, on January 6th, he didn't deploy the National Guard. So then you bring up January 6th again. It's like a back and forth, just mishmash of a bunch of caca. A bunch of caca. This seems interesting. Let's go to this one. Google faces setback in fight against $5 billion $5 billion antitrust fine. Here we go. I don't like Google. I don't like YouTube. We've all seen what YouTube does to Brad. We've seen how YouTube mistreats me. Brad, you got mixed up with the George Floyd peaceful protest. Mike, you savage. Oh, Mike, I love you. See, there's some sleepers in here. There really are. There's some people that are quiet, but when they come out, they throw a haymaker. They're taking notes from Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's White House press secretary. She's a little feisty one too. She'll seem all nice, right? She'll seem quiet. You have a nice conversation with her, asking questions. And, she'll throw some body shots, right? Just a couple body shots. But then just out of nowhere, she's all cute and just wham, just right in your head. She just lollips you, right? You go, fuck. Right in your back, like, what the fuck just happened? And then your body tells you just got knocked the fuck out. All right. Brussels. And we're back. Alphabet Soup's Google faced a potential setback on Thursday as an advisor to Europe's highest court sided with antitrust regulators in the company's fight against a record $4.34 billion euro, which is $5 billion cashola in American money, fine levied 7 years ago. The European Commission in its 2018 decision said Google had used its Android mobile operating system to block rivals. Uh-oh. A lower tribunal endorsed the EU finding in 2022, but trimmed the fine to 4.1 billion euros. It will shave a little off the top, prompting Google to appeal to courts, Europe's top court. Advocate General Court of Justice of the European Union, in her non-binding opinion, advised the court to dismiss Google's appeal and confirm the reduced fine set by the lower tribunal. The legal arguments put forward by Google are ineffective. That's a big fine. I mean, to Google, though, it's a slap on the wrist. It's a lot of money, but it's a slap on the wrist. Excuse me. I bring this up because, you guys, there is a suit still in place, from my understanding, between Rumble suit between Rumble and Google. So Rumble, who we stream on, who is our main platform, who we are partnered with, has a big suit in, by the way. And I've said time and time again, use my channel as Discovery, please. Use my channel. I want you to do digging because I want this to come out in the discovery phase on how they are limiting our traffic. Here we go. First lawsuit, Rumble v. Google, 2021. And here's a new one filing May of 2024, digital advertising practices that are taking place. So there's a case right now with Rumble v. Google filed last year, almost a year ago today, in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. This suit targets Google allegedly in anti-competitive practices in the digital advertising market, specifically ad tech stack. Rumble seeks damages exceeding $1 billion and injunctive relief. So you have that taking place. There's also a case from 2021 filed with the U.S. District Court of Northern California. This suit accuses Google of violating the Sherman Antitrust Act by unfairly favoring its YouTube platform in the online video sharing market. Rumble sought damages exceeding $2 billion, claiming Google's practices cost it billions of video views and advertising revenue. Now, let's see if there's any updates with that. Okay, here's the outcome of it. The lawsuit was dismissed before reaching trial, which was scheduled on July 2025. Damn it, that's next month! Rumble's claims of Google's self-preferring and exclusionary contracts were not substantially addressed due to the statute of limitations ruling. Man, we could have had something big there, boys. Could have something real big. It didn't go through. You failed us. I'm actually going to write to Rumble and see what's going on with that, because I want that to happen. Again, Friday's episode, we tend to spend a little bit more time in the chat. So why don't we go to the viewers? Again, if you're over at TikTok, feel free to ask questions. It looks like we got a lot of Patriots. We got Angel and Pat duking it out with people over at TikTok. I love it. Get feisty, Pat. Kick their ass, Dizzy. So we got three guys. We got Angel, we got Dizzy, and Pat just laying the law over there at TikTok. I love it. Brad, what shampoo do you use? Oh, stop. I actually do use shampoo. Get out of here. I still have hair. Still got a little bit of hair. Get out of here with that noise. What shampoo do you use? I love it. Rolling Pony, love that name. FCC also made it to where local TV stations can be independent from major corporations and mainstream media networks to better service local views. I love that. That's a great idea. Get the mainstream media out of here. A bunch of liars. Bunch of liars. Lulu says we have pro football and basketball teams and bikers from all over come to the Ribber for ribs. Okay, well, that's cool. We're talking about barbecue and YouTube. That's how close our community is, that I jump into their conversations. Our community knows each other so well, they talk about their local barbecue places. It's crazy, man. I love it. I'm not, please don't feel like I'm dismissing it by any means. I just love that that's the community we've created here, where we know each other so well that you guys are just having casual conversation and chat. Not even about what I'm talking about. You just go, well, screw Brad. I'm going to talk to my buddies in the chat. I love it. I'm all about it. Good for you guys. Hell yeah. MAGA drummer. Miss Wookie says, sensitive much. LOL, reporting comments is hilarious. Oh, calm down, Wookie. Wookie, we're all friends here. Simmer down. We don't need to report anybody unless they do anything crazy. They're saying racist stuff, which is typical of the left. Bunch of psychos. Heather, good morning to you as well. Good to see you. Cece says, goal be... Jesus, it's so tiny. That's what she said. All right, still more barbecue talk. Okay, hey, I don't know nothing about barbecue. Yeah, barbecue. All right, let's get back into the news. Enough of the shenanigans from me. You guys have your conversation. I'll come back to you in a little bit. Little sidebar. Love it. Love that. Let's see what we got here. I'm trying to see if there's any good... You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go to TikTok. Jeez. Let's go to Twitter and see if there's anything here. Oh, I heard this happening yesterday. Federal land sale plan for housing sparks debate. Senator Mike Lee has proposed selling off between 2.5 to 3 million acres of federal land near urban areas in western states for affordable housing as part of the Senate's budget reconciliation bill. This initiative has sparked controversy, with critics arguing that it could lead to the loss of natural heritage, while supporters highlight its potential to alleviate housing shortages. Opposition comes from environmentalists, some politicians, and celebrities who fear long-term environmental impact. There was an interesting conversation that was on Tim Pool's podcast, I believe it was last night or the night before, that there's this federal land that is being held. Nothing's happening to it. And that rather than selling it off, where these corporations are just going to take over and just make a boatload of money, just buckets of cash, you know, there's these blacks that are here that are saying, hey, you know what? We went through this thing called slavery, which they never did. Their ancestors did. They never went through slavery. It only takes one generation to fork your family tree, but you're racist if you say that. Yeah, it doesn't take multiple generations to change your generational wealth, folks. It doesn't. I hate to say it to you. There's people that do it all the time. All the time. I know you don't want to hear it because then somebody's calling out for something happening to you that you have to take responsibility for, of you know, spending $100 to $1,000 a month on Grubhub or some stupid thing. So, you know, but here nor there. So the conversation was about, hey, we'll give reparations to black people. Give them some of this land that's federal land out there in the middle of nowhere. There's your reparations, and go our ways. We don't have to hear about it ever again. There you go. You got your reparations, you got land, and maybe out in the middle of nowhere, BFE, but you got it. There's your reparations. I don't want to hear about it anymore. There you said and done. Mind you, guys, this is dirt. It's sand. Look, it's sand. It's out there in the middle of nowhere. Just give it to them. No big deal. No big deal whatsoever. What do you guys think about that? Let's go to the chat. Absolutely not, because once you open up, they are always going to want more. There is truth to that. There is truth definitely to that. That's always crossed my mind in regards to any reparations. But here's the thing. The nice thing about doing it that way, it doesn't mean I'm for it. I'm just merely bringing up the idea of it, what people are saying. The idea behind it is I'm not having to pay for anything. So my problem with reparations isn't the idea of reparations itself, of giving them something for some sort of injustice that happened in the past. My problem is why am I paying for somebody else's injustice in the past with my money? I didn't do anything. Like, why am I being penalized? I did not do anything. I did not hold slaves. My parents didn't hold slaves. My grandparents did. So you're talking almost maybe 4 generations, never held slaves. Ever. By the way, I guess, there's like Pocahontas. People are like, there's no way that you're Native American, Brad. You're too white. No, I could tan really, really dark. I just never go out in the sun. I sit in this closet all day. I love it. I love it. I have cousins that are so Native American. I have a cousin named Redbird. That's how Native American some of my family is. Redbird. Do any of you have Pocahontas? Elizabeth Warren doesn't even have family members like that. That's how Native American your boy is. Redbird. Yo, yeah. It's good to see you guys in the chat. We got somebody else new here? Who's new? Welcome. Hard to sign up. Welcome to that person in the chat. Not an American pretensions. I have no idea what you're talking about, but appreciate it nonetheless. Nonetheless, appreciate it. But anyways, so I don't want me to be penalized for somebody else's crap that took place 200 plus years ago. You know, depending on where you're at. The nation's 250, what? So, okay, well, a little, less than that, but you understand what I mean. But people always get spooked out when you say, oh, well, what do you mean that it takes generation? How could I do that? We don't need to sell federal land and turn over wilderness into housing developments. We need more housing. Let's round up all the illegals who don't belong in this country and evict them, is what Matt Walsh is saying. That'll free up millions of housing units in one fell swoop. Leave the federal land alone. America's natural beauty must be protected. There is truth to that. There is a massive supply and demand issue happening, especially if you're in Los Angeles, where there's allegedly just in Los Angeles County alone, there's 1 million illegal aliens just in LA County alone. So if you take the entire state of California, you're talking millions and millions of people, especially in these sanctuary areas like New York City, LA, really any leftist dominated right to shelter state. It's crazy. I'm not a Proud Boy. Matter of fact, I don't even know really much about the Proud Boys. I'm just a normal American dude. Isn't it amazing how people assume that you're something when it's like you're just talking about the news? I actually have not really given, this entire time I've been streaming almost an hour, I haven't even really given my opinion on anything, really. I've just told you what other people said. They go, are you a Proud Boy? Are you this or that? It's like, what? Because I have a beard and a hat on? Crazy. Crazy. West Side, you crazy. Johnny says, Lulu, are you saying you're 1/16th Texan. I really don't want to give them anything. I was spouting a commercial slogan that must be local. That must be local. Johnny says, Lulu, are you saying 1/16th Texan? Okay, Johnny's just repeating himself. Or I read that twice, maybe. Let's go back here. Reparations are a communist premise. Make more single-family homes. DeSantis keeps saying homeowners are only renting because of taxes. Homeowners are only renting because of taxes? You got to break that down for me. I don't get that. DeSantis keeps saying homeowners are only renting because of taxes. Right now, it's surprising. If you look at housing, especially here in California, it actually makes sense to rent now and save, believe it or not. It's cheaper to rent now than it is to own a home. It's very difficult to buy a piece of property here in the state of California. Why does Matt Walsh look like that? Matt Walsh just looks normal. I don't know what you're talking about. Iran denied all of Trump's statements, saying they never offered to go to Washington for negotiations. Well, I don't believe really anything the Iranians say. These are people that support terrorism. So they can say whatever they want. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. That's for sure. Dan says, I was born in the deep south of Texas. Where are you guys born? Freedom is so cool. Can BBQ and listen to Brad. Love that, Dan. Thanks for throwing me in there. Appreciate that. Starchild says, Brad, I live with my grandparents' homestead that's never had a mortgage since 1948. We've been paying taxes with no mortgage since 1948. I'm assuming you're talking about property tax. I think property tax is theft, man. You own the property. Why are you paying taxes on it? You own it. By the way, I'll tell you another scam that I think is full BS. I think car registration is BS. The fact, by the way, you don't have to be that's not a Democrat or Republican thing. Can we all, here's some commonality that we can get here. Does everybody think that car insurance is BS? Not car insurance, registration. Why are we paying, some cases people pay like a couple hundred to like $500 for registering their car. Why? It's paperwork. Why am I paying that much for car registration? Every year. Yeah, it's only for state revenue. Exactly. It's theft, man. There we go. Yeah, we're getting some agreement here. Everyone's like, agreed, taking our money. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit more commonality here on taxes, how we're getting reamed all together. How about we talk about that? It drives me up a wall, man. For paperwork. And by the way, here, let's go to Grok, because I actually don't know the answer to this. Why is a... I got to find the answer to this. Before I actually ask the question, because I don't want it to look like I'm stupid, I'm just going to read the answer to you. Okay. Older car registration is typically cheaper than new car registration due to the combination of factors rooted in how vehicle registration fees are actually structured by most states or countries. Meaning, they came up with a BS thing is what it is. Below is a concise explanation based on the common practices in the United States. Vehicle-based fees. Many states calculate registration based on the vehicle's market value or depreciated value. Why? The weight of the vehicle, the environment of the vehicle, how much it's basically it's fuel efficiency adjustments, sales tax, discounts for older. Basically, all I'm reading is a bunch of BS. We came up with something off the top of our head that doesn't make sense so that we can ream all of you across the country. Oh, isn't that fun? Mm-hmm. You love that, don't you? God, it drives me up a wall, man. Just theft. Pure theft. So I'm trying to see if there's any breaking news here. FBI increases surveillance. Interesting. FBI increases surveillance of Iran-backed operatives. U.S. source. Here we go. So the FBI is increasing its monitoring of Iran-backed operatives in the U.S. as President Donald Trump weighs getting involved in the conflict. The White House said on Thursday that Trump will make a decision on U.S. involvement in the conflict within 2 weeks. Which, like I said, it could happen today, for all we know. This reportedly includes surveillance of possible sleeper cells. This was the question in the chat before, linked to the Tehran-backed terrorist organization Hezbollah. The Lebanon-based terror group also got a clear warning from Israel defense minister not to join the conflict. From my understanding, I believe we read that it was Hezbollah that said, look, we don't want to have any involvement in this after they saw what the Israelis were doing to the Iranian military. So, I mean, you got that, which is bonkers. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat here. People are still talking about Texas, which you love. Cole says there is a law from 1912 that states can build and drive anything on the road without any regulations. Well, it's interesting if that is true. You know, I've always found it interesting that we have toll roads everywhere. Like we just built on the 405 here, we just built a massive toll road. So you're telling me that I have to pay a toll, a fee for a road that I already pay for. Now, some toll roads are privatized. That is true. But sometimes the government leases it. I don't want a toll. It's a road that I pay for already. So where's all my money going? Where's our money going? Not my money. Where's all our money going? Eliminate all taxes, replace them with tariffs. I don't think that's feasible nowadays, Metamouth. Metamouth? I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that's feasible. No, So let me give you an explanation here. Let's see if this will populate a better explanation than what I will give. Is a lot of people were talking about when Donald Trump was introducing these tariffs that, hey, let's just go back to, you know, the context of tariffs from 1912, where we didn't really even have an income tax. And we were just kind of, that was our primary revenue source. So last year, the U.S. collected about $5 trillion in revenue, with individual income taxes contributing 2.2 trillion. So it's about 50% of our revenue was from income taxes. And then corporate income tax added about $527 billion. So you're still not even up to you're not even up to 3 trillion yet. Tariffs generated only 76 billion. So that's so tariffs right now, as of last year, were only 1.5% of our total revenue. So what you would need to do is replace 2.7 trillion. So hopefully this is giving you an idea of how much of a problem this would be. So you need to replace $2.7 trillion from income taxes with tariffs. Rates would need to be extraordinarily high for that to happen. U.S. imports in 2023 totaled 3.8 trillion. A 58% tariffs rate would theoretically be needed to match income tax revenue, assuming import levels remain constant. However, high tariffs reduce imports, shrinking the tax base. The Peterson Institute estimates a 50% tariff rate would maximize revenue at 780 billion, less than 40% of income tax revenue, which means, you know, that's a major problem. Not to mention, you would also have the economic impacts where basically, if you did 50% or more, that would suggest that it would increase your tax $1,200 in each household. It drives up your cost basically, right? So some of you are like, well, I don't even pay that in taxes as it is. No, you do. You do. So it's just not feasible with the way things function nowadays, unfortunately. Now, I don't think it's not like it's not mutually exclusive. It's not disjoint. You can still have tariffs in place to still offset taxation, which is what Trump is trying to do. This math isn't mathing. Oh, I think you guys are talking about something else. I'm like, no, my math is working. My math is working. My math is working just fine. Just fine. So let's go to the chat a little bit more before we move on. We're only going to do an hour today, folks. It is Friday, and spammer, beep, boop. Dave, who are you talking about in the chat? I only see you. We got a few viewers over at Kick, which is always cool. Good to see you guys over at Kick. Make sure you hit that follow button. We got a lot more followers on YouTube and Rumble all over the place. So let's see if anybody else has a question here. Good morning, Brad. Thank you for the news and enrollment this morning. Appreciate you. Thank you, Sea-Dog. Sea-Dog is always here. Entertainment. Thank you for entertainment this morning. You got it, brother. Good to see you too. Shout out to everybody over there at TikTok. We are growing like insanely over at TikTok. Just a heads up, you guys. I can't. It's so fast. I can't describe to you what's happening over there. I know I talk about it every morning, but it's like I'm trying to fathom. Like every video we're popping out, man, is hitting like it is. I would imagine in a sense like going viral every video almost. The one we just posted 2 days ago is about to hit 1 million views. That's viral. You guys, when I post these videos, I have less than 30,000 followers on TikTok. These are views that people get with like 500,000 followers, 600,000 followers. It's crazy. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, the one we posted yesterday has 230,000 views. Hasn't been 12 hours yet. Nuts. I don't know what's going on. That's over here with the $1. God bless you, babe. Brad, read your text from Karen. Breaking news on taxes. Where's that at? My text or my emails? She doesn't have my text. You talking about my emails? Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. Okay, so Senate, here, let me, okay, here's what it says. Senate Finance Committee for passing the Trump tax cuts by July 4th. No tax on tips if under 150,000 single earners above tax. No tax on overtime pay is what amount over your hour wage up to 150,000 and 300,000 married. Car loans. Okay, so hold on. What about this? I don't understand. Is that what you guys are talking about Texas for? Is that why? That this just passed? Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying now. Okay, so let me break this down for the viewer. It's a little confusing. You guys it was just a bunch of information thrown at me. It didn't really like make sense. It was like, oh, here's the thing. Okay. All right, everybody calm down. I got this. Okay? Jesus. All right, so Karen, by the way, thank you for your moderation, Karen. We love you here. All right, so there was an email that was sent to me by Karen just now. And what this email does, it basically outlines several provisions from the Senate Finance Committee tax bill aligned with President Donald Trump's tax cut agenda. And what this is done for, or aiming for, I guess, is a passing by July 4th, 2025. So I'm trying to talk to the chat here. The details reflect these elements of what we see in the one big, beautiful bill that passed the House just, May last month. And now under Senate consideration, there was some modifications. Now, what you have here is no tax on tips for single earners under 150,000, which is almost everybody that's single. Most people that are single are making like $50,000 to $60,000. Okay. So again, the Senate bill proposes a temporary above the line deduction of up to $25,000 for tip income. So there is a threshold, you guys. It's not that all this is from my understanding. I could be wrong here, but from my understanding is there is a ceiling to how much of your tax are not, or your tax, how much of your tips are not taxed. So please understand that. But here's the thing. Most people aren't making $25,000 in tips. Maybe they are, but most people aren't. So this is good for service workers, especially those that work in like restaurants and stuff. No tax on overtime, up to $150,000 single, $300,000 married. Most people, again, aren't going to reach these ceilings, which is great. car loan interest deduction for U.S. assembled vehicles only. So the bill allows a temporary above the line deduction up to $10,000 per year for interest on car loans. I like this, but I don't like that it enables bad behavior. I'm going to say that again. I like this because it helps people. And for those that didn't know this, I used to be a tax accountant for many years. So this is up my alley. So this is above the line AGI. So this is to try to minimize your taxable income is what's happening here. This is the goal, is to lower that money of which you're taxed on. For example, let's say you made $100,000 a year and we're going to do a flat tax to make life easy. 10% of $100,000, you're going to owe $10,000 tax. But if we can get that $100,000 down to say, $60,000 taxable income, well, you're not going to owe $10,000 anymore. You're going to owe $6,000. So there's a helpful kind of guide to what's the objective here is to get that taxable income down as much as possible. Then you have credits and stuff that could be thrown in there and all those other things, like the child tax credit's a great one, for example. But this enables bad behavior. The reason why is you should not be financing a vehicle, folks. Again, I am not legally allowed to give financial advice. I'm relaying what it says from Dave Ramsey. There you go. Buying a new vehicle is one of the worst financial decisions you could possibly make, at least in the top 3. So that's what I don't like is when we incentivize bad behavior in the forms of things like this. Does it help people? Absolutely. But it also enables people. Because people think, oh, well, I could just go buy a new vehicle. I could deduct the interest rate from my taxable income and just not owe as much taxes. Yeah, but it's still money out the door. That's the problem. Does anybody know the average car payment's like $725 a month? That was a couple years ago. Let me see what the new one is. What is the average car payment in the US as of 2024? It used to be $725 was the average, meaning 50% of the country pays more than $725. 50% pay less than $725. Here we go. As of quarter four of 2024, Edmunds reported a average, I'm about to lose my breath when I say this, an average car payment of $754 a month. That's wild, dude. I have never bought a new car in my life. I've only ever bought a used car. Cash. I will save up 10 years if I have to for a vehicle. I follow Dave Ramsey, by the way. If you're over at TikTok, remember, hit that heart button. It does help greatly. We only have 3,000 hearts. I can do 3,000 myself by spamming the phone. What's happening here? So anyways, let's go back to what Karen was saying here. You also have, where are we at? Okay, so car loan deduction. And you also have a Medicaid provision, provider tax reduction from 6% to 3.5% by 2031. I don't really have anything to add on that. SALT deduction to help New York and California. So this is the state and local tax deduction capped at $10,000 under 2017 tax cuts. Allows taxpayers who itemize to deduct state and local taxes. The reason why California and New York are thrown in the mix is because properties tend to be really expensive. So you're going to have high mortgage interest. Usually you're not going to have what's called a Schedule A, an itemized deduction, if you're not paying off your home. Usually the biggest deduction within that Schedule A, it usually is your mortgage interest, that 1098 form that you get in the mail. So most people right now aren't really going to be qualifying for itemized deduction because Donald Trump increased the standard deduction so much. So it helps people. I'm not against it. I'm just saying it's just, it might not affect a lot of you in the chat is what I'm trying to get at. Jeff B, I agree. Tired of tipping. We started tipping because of Great Depression when owners couldn't afford. Yeah, I tip, but I always start at 20 and I work my way down. So you automatically lose 5 to 10% if I have to ask for water. 5 to 10% you automatically lose if I have to ask for water. It's the most basic form of service that you can give, is giving somebody a napkin, silverware, and water. By the way, which isn't difficult. If you're not able to achieve that on a base form, a tip is provided when you go above and beyond your job. When the service was so good, they made such a personal connection to you, that is when you tip. I remember I dated a girl in high school, rest in peace because she's no longer around. But very good friend all the way through that whole tragedy that happened. But she used to work at Islands. And I remember getting in a massive argument with her in high school about this. Because she's like, oh, I made this so much in tip. My sister made this so much in tip. And like her sister made a lot in tips. And I said, I don't think you should be making that much money in tips. That's ridiculous. And she goes, well, I deserve it. And I said, no, you don't. You don't deserve a tip. You can earn a tip, but you don't deserve it. Well, Dizzy, she passed away of cancer, my friend. Not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And I watched her 24 hours before she passed, less than 24 hours before she passed. And so I said, you deserve a tip. You don't earn a tip. You don't deserve a tip. You earn a tip. And she lost her mind over it. Needless to say, it didn't go well. And then we have here, so that's the SALT deduction. And then you have Social Security, extra $6,000 deduction for single filers over 65, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. I like that. And did you know that, baby boomers only have majority of baby boomers only have like $10,000 saved for retirement? Crazy, man. Cole says, we are still in the barbecue chat over there on YouTube. If it means anything for anybody in here, again, I'm going to talk about our tight-knit community we have here. We would really love for you to join the chat with us. We got an awesome community of patriots that know each other so well. I have been streaming for over an hour. For like 30 minutes of that hour, they've been talking about barbecue in the chat. Not about anything I'm covering here. They're just having a good time with each other. God, we should do a meetup one day. We should do a massive meetup. And everybody can come hang out. Like we'll have to do it at the beach or something. Fox News, zero credibility. Okay. Well, Life of Lucas or with Lucas. What news site should we use that's credible? Let's see. Let's see their answer. I love this. I love just asking, what's a credible news source that we can go to that will make you happy, Lucas? Let's see if they left. They might have left already. But Lucas had to follow, I believe, to be in this chat. So let's see. I'm just literally here to pick out articles and have something on the screen, but sure. I guess we'll go to this. There we go. BBC. BBC doesn't lie. Sleepy kitty. That's what some people call their wives wahoos, sleepy kitty. If people don't laugh at that, I don't know what to laugh at. That was good. Jen Van, I listen to you while working, can't stop and type often, but love listening. Oh, thanks, Jen. That's cool to know. See, a lot of people are like Jen. They're working and they just can't type. Totally get that. Love that though. You guys are what we call lurkers. I love it. Well, Jen, just know we love you and thank you for always supporting the Paul Brad Show. I see that you're a supporter, so thank you so much. God bless you. There's a lot of people like that. A lot of blue collar that I found out. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trucking. Awesome. There's a lot of blue collar workers I found out, which is cool that you guys share what we do. I am a Trump supporter. Voted for the guy 3 times, but that doesn't mean we can't be friends. But a lot of you are doing blue collar, just have an earpiece in your ear and just listen to me. So that's really cool. It's really interesting to hear what you guys do for work. So we got a trucker. Some of you work in office jobs. I know Jeff's an accountant, public accountant. Some of you are retired. So a lot of our viewers are workers, and God bless you. That's so cool. I love learning more about the people. Brad the Knucklehead. I do watch the Enforcer guy. He's pretty good. I'm the Enforcer. Yes, I too love Trump. I don't know why some people don't like him. He's amazing. Trump is awesome. I love Trump. By the way, then you would love our Dark MAGA podcast that we do every Tuesday, Thursday evening, where we put on the hat. So Fox News doesn't have a hard political leaning. No, they do. But so do I. That's why I use them. By the way, I think everybody here, I just want to point out, Sleepy Kitty, thank you for again joining us. Please don't feel like I'm handing you. If the hat wasn't a dead giveaway, if the Patriots in the chat wasn't a dead giveaway, if my website wasn't a dead giveaway, hold on a second. I'm just going to show this. I don't know what more could be a dead giveaway for you that this is a conservative podcast. It's on my website. It's on my book. Okay. It's in my pictures of me. Right? Like the eagle. The American flag. I mean, girl, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. Look at all this. It's in my bio. It's on my merchandise. American Patriot, 1776, girl, it everywhere, baby. Yeah. So I use conservative sites, but also when I make my TikTok videos, most of them are left leaning. But we watch CNN here. We will dabble into the left a little bit. I think it's always hilarious. We dabble into the Guardian. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go to CNN real quick. Let's go to CNN. This is what they want. European and Iranian officials to revive talks as Trump delays decision. Okay, well, guess what? Fox News is saying the same thing. Let's look at another headline here. Iranian missile strikes tech park housing Microsoft office in southern Israel. Guess what? Fox was saying the exact same thing. We covered it. But let's just see what else is going on here. Airlines do more than just cut flights during global... Oh, that's for subscribers. That's not us. Let's see also. Predictions from economics were dire after Trump launched his tariff campaign. Prices would rise, they said. Guess who else has covered this? Everybody. Let's go through a few more here. A Fed official just joined Trump in calling for imminent rate cuts. Interesting. Fox has been covering that as well, so has the Daily Wire. I know this because we use those sources. What I'm getting at here is when I do my show prep, I cover a lot of different news sites. And those news sites, I try to see if they correlate to the Daily Wire or something else. And so that way I don't have to bounce around with the way that my software works. That's why I use the Daily Wire so much, is because it's clean and it goes just all the way down and it's a nice look. And it's also fitting the narrative that I have here. But as you can see on your screen, when you populate some of this stuff, see how it's off the screen? For those on YouTube, you see the whole thing. But for those on TikTok, it looks terrible. Whereas if I go to the Daily Wire and I click on a link, look how nice this shows up on your screen when I click on it. Look how clean that looks. So that's why I use it. It's like, okay, I can go to the Daily Wire. I can look at what they have and see, okay, they're also talking about this on CNN. Okay, they're also talking about this on the BBC. Okay, they're also talking about it on Reuters or The Atlantic. They're talking about it everywhere. So here's the LA Dodgers, right? Everybody was talking about this on how they turned ice away, but it's nice packaged just cleanly for me. So for those that are curious on how I do my show prep, that's what I do. I go and look at other sites and then I see if there's something that does correlate to the Daily Wire. If it does, well, now when somebody Googles LA Dodgers say they turned away ice, well, hey, look at that. You can go find that everywhere. But I everything I have is a dead giveaway of biased show that I do here. I am open about it. If you want some progressive stuff, you got to go somewhere else. But that's what we do here. And nobody makes anybody watch. Everybody comes in because, they love the show. And that's why we have a lot of people watching on all platforms. Just to give you an idea, we get probably 2,000 views on our content. That's without TikTok, just on our podcast, on our hour-long to 2-hour-long podcast, 2,000 views. I mean, the one from just the other day was what, at 40,000? So a lot of people go, well, you only have, 50 people watching at TikTok. You have 50 people watching on Rumble. You got 20 people, sometimes 20 to 70 watching on TikTok. X is, 10. They go, oh, well, you only have like 200 people watching live, which is great, by the way. But people forget how many people watch after. Did they forget Venezuelan gangs coming here and destroying our income, our towns and our neighborhoods? I didn't forget. I don't forget much. We're not like Joey here. We don't forget much. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you to everybody that, thank you. Was it Betts? Betts was contributing $1 just to get me to look at the chat. That will get me looking, by the way. That got me. It worked, Bets. You're right. It got me. You got that dollar. Got me. I was all hyped up. What's happening? Thank you to everybody that contributes and joins. And always supporting the show. We need to. So Jerry, if you are listening, I've gotten your email. I have not forgotten to do not Dark Naga, Spooky Adventures. We do have a second channel called Spooky Adventures. Why don't I plug that really quick? If you like the paranormal, the supernatural, and the unexplained, we could be best friends. Because I have a second channel that most people don't know about, and it's called Spooky Adventures, if I can find it. And it's where we go over the paranormal, the unexplained. Here we go. So I'm actually going to bring this on my screen. And this is what's cool. Even if you are a Democrat, we could be friends. So there's Spooky Adventures link. And we go over this stuff. So it's a small channel. We're going to try to grow it. There's 90 videos, by the way. I need to post more. But this is what we do. So here, why don't we play this and you'll get an idea of some of the stuff we check out here on the show.
A movement.
Uh-oh.
Watch closely.
Oh, here we go. Oh, God. Annabelle? Oh, Jesus! Get out of there! Oh, my God! Go! Anybody there? Oh, Jesus! I hear something. Oh, shit! Oh, my, what?
Now, the doll doesn't actually move, but the items surrounding it in the storage closet fly violently across the room, and even on top of the doll. Viewers...
Alrighty, so anyways, you get the gist of it. But we don't just do paranormal stuff. We actually do aliens, UFO, stuff like that as well. I would like to find something about Bigfoot, but with that being said, thank you so much for joining me. When I'm going to go live again, I don't know. Monday, obviously. Monday's a shoo-in, 6 a.m., but who knows? I might do something Sunday. Get a little bit of freaky deaky, a little spicy, wicey, a little bit of wowzer sauce. I don't know what I'm saying. But with that being said, thank you folks for joining me. I hope you have a blessed Friday. Have an awesome weekend. Do something nice for somebody, even if it's so much as calling them up and saying, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Just want to say I love you and see how you're doing. Something like that really goes a long way in people's lives. I think we forget, people struggle. And I think something small like that really is a blessing to a lot of people, because a lot of people are lonely. And we need to make sure that, they feel loved as well. And I want everybody in the chat to know that I've never met you in real life, but know that I appreciate you guys, and don't ever feel lonely. If you need somebody to talk to, literally tell me, hey, I'm just feeling lonely right now. I just want somebody to talk to, and DM me. DM me on TikTok, or DM me on X. And I don't want you to feel lonely. That's not right. And you shouldn't. So there's people that care about you, and just know we love you here. So with that being said, God bless you. Take care of one another. I'll see you next time here on the Bolt Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.